So this morning, Sony decided to surprise us with a video titled First Look at PlayStation 5 User Experience. That's very important, by the way, not just user interface, user experience. Remember, it goes a bit further than just the menu system that's set up. They wanted to also talk about how community can interact and different things you can do with your friends as well while you're playing your own game. And there was a lot to take in here with this video. They just released it, and I kind of wanted to go back through it a bit here and talk about some of the things that they showed and talk a bit about my thoughts on the UI here and the user experience. Guys, if you enjoy this video, make sure that like button helps out a ton. And if you're new to the SpawnWave Plus channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. So let's go over here to the beginning of the video. We're going to jump around here as we go. I think tomorrow morning in Newswave, I'll have more of the bullet points set up to kind of go over what was shown. And it sounds like there are a lot of previews that are dropping alongside of this video throughout the day. So it seems that there will just be more and more information coming out as well. Now, they started us, of course, with the press the PlayStation button on your controller, and that's not too surprising because that's where we would start. It's a very basic screen here with kind of the light coming down from the top there. But this is something we had already seen. Remember, that this is the part that they showed us during that presentation earlier this year, where they went from this and then cut to more gameplay. And we kind of thought they were going to build up to showing us at least the menu when you get past here, but they never did. Seems that they were saving it right up until a month before the system came out. So we go through a bit of a narration with this, where they kind of talk about the overall menu, the system, being able to sign in, and then they come to this part. Now, these are cards according to them. And the cards are, for me, it kind of looks like your history of what you've been doing on the console, the way that they have it set up, whether it's, as you can see, a recently created new screenshot, a level you were in. Now they have level and adventure, which is interesting. I guess those would be two separate things for them, but one of the things I really like is that it seems pretty easy to jump back into checkpoints that are not necessarily built into the game itself, but built into the user experience at like the system level. So like, for example, here you have like level 33% on Sackboy, A Big Adventure. You would just be able to jump into that point without having to be first, I guess, in the game. These are cards that you access when you hit that PlayStation button. It appears you can go right to this. And then at the bottom here, it looks like they also have several icons, whether it's kind of your friends or party down here. You have volume, your controller with its overall battery life, all of that. So I do like the idea that you can jump back to different things very, very quickly. It also looks like they have kind of a news section here, which was part of their Explore tab. Really, it looks like they're working to make it easier for you to get into a game without too much issue. Like, it's certainly all based on saving time when it comes to playing games. I've talked about before how when we're going to look back on the previous generation, as we're working through this one, I think the biggest thing that is going to be kind of jarring to us as we get used to this generation coming up is that everything's faster. You don't waste a lot of time. And I've thought about this in some games where you're just loading for minutes on end at times. You add all that up over the course of a year, and yeah, it gets pretty crazy with even hours of time you just sitting at a load screen. So I like this, even just getting into the games. Now, I will say, Sackboy, you know what? It doesn't look bad. I am at least curious about this game. I think I'm going to pick up most of the PlayStation 5 launch lineup when it drops, and Sackboy is one that I'm at least a bit curious about there on the PlayStation 5, especially since it seems to be the one that they use to really show off this user experience. Now, one other part with the cards, which they get into one here, is that it looks like there is quite a bit more information alongside of it. So they mention that you can have like a time set up where it will try to estimate how long until you have completed the card or the progress that you're working through for that level. They say about 10 minutes left here. I wonder what it is for, how do they calculate that with something like Demon Souls? Because that is a game that you very well could be dying over and over again, and you don't ever make any real progress. So I don't really know how that one will work out, because Sackboy seems pretty straightforward. It's, for the most part, linear when you get into a level. Seems a lot easier to figure that one out or estimate it. But I like that. Again, just communicating more information to you so you know, again, how long it'll take before maybe you can step back away from the system. That's something that's trying to work into people's lives. I get that. Now, there is something else that was pretty interesting in that card. Oh, we do have a load time here, by the way, it seems, where they go through getting into one of these parts. And the load times for the PS5 are indeed pretty quick. A second, maybe? It's pretty fast. So, again, I like that we're not spending a lot of time just staring at a loading screen. Now, this is where they do use one of the newer features for the PS5, or the user experience, I should say, for the PS5. And that is that you can have video guides, essentially, in the game. We talked about this because this was something that was mentioned before as a patent. And the idea here is if you are a PlayStation Plus member, again, that's pretty important. You have to be subscribed to the PlayStation Plus service, it appears. You can watch video guides that will help you do objectives. They seem like maybe Sony is setting this up on their own, kind of, where they will run these through. Maybe they have people they're paying and they're like, hey, do these objectives, and we'll screen record it, and then we'll post it here with the game. Maybe it's up to the developers to do that. It's hard to say right now exactly, but this way, if you get stuck, you don't have to go to YouTube or something to do it. Technically, you can just watch it right from the game, provided you are subscribed, of course, to their service. And that'll be interesting to see with boss battles. Like I said, for Demon Souls, as an example, do they have voiceover commentary to try to tell you this is a good way to go about it? You want to dodge it this time. You want to use this item. You want to be this level. Those are things I'm curious if they will have that. They do talk a bit about the overall party chat system. And one of the things I really liked that they mentioned with the party chat is that you can share your screen, or someone can share their screen with you. That's a really cool idea. Of course, that means if somebody is stuck somewhere, you can then help them yourself while you're still playing your game, because they are doing the Snap 2. Remember the Xbox One uses that, right? Remember Snap TV or something? Remember that? You can do picture-in-picture. You can do pin it to the side. You can move it around all over the place. Again, a really cool feature to have, that you can more interact with your friends a bit more closely and to, again, work them through things. Or maybe they want to show you something really, really cool. Maybe they just got a brand new game and you're curious how it plays. And you're like, well, can I take a look at your screen to see if it's any good? And they'll run through it, and then maybe you can decide if you want it at that time. It's more ways to interact through the user experience overall. And I like that. I think it's a really cool idea. And again, the speed of this UI overall is great. Okay, let me ask somebody a question here, because I am genuinely curious on this one. This is Destruction AllStars. I'm curious if people are really excited for this one. Like, this is the game that I see talked about like the least out of all the PS5 games coming up. It's this one. And I don't know, maybe it's just the look of it, the idea of it. It doesn't even stand out to me much at all. And I keep forgetting this game is even there for the PS5 this year. But then we do have our create button here, take screenshot. Looks like they have screen recording. And I guess to the left, that would be maybe replay, because they say that it is always recording. So as you're playing through something, how we'd have Xbox, record that. It was because the Xbox was always recording prior. So it appears that Sony is doing something similar there, where it'll just be recording the last, 30 seconds to a minute. And it's able to go back and kind of capture really cool moments in a multiplayer game or a single player game or something that you want to show off. Now, this is the overall screen here. I like it. The top icons are fairly small, but I don't think they need to be huge. That's the thing. Like, it doesn't have to fill up the whole screen, because you get this really nice kind of wallpaper on the background. There's plenty of room below all of those icons to show different bits of information. For example, they show that Destruction AllStars is badly overpriced at $70, it appears. And you can see your trophy progress, all of that. But there could also have streams that are going on right now for it, just as an example. If maybe you have the demo and you want to check out the rest of the game or something, maybe it'll have, because they have screen share, maybe if your friends are playing it, They will then put that your friend is playing it and you can jump into the multiplayer. Here's what they're doing in the multiplayer now. And it's like The Last of Us Part 2 multiplayer or something. And oh, look, they're in a match and they just took that person down. I want to jump into the next game and I'm going to get queued up in this party. Just, there's a lot of things they could do here. Maybe sales. Maybe like if there's a sale going on with similar games. Again, I like that they have kept this fairly open because I think there's a lot of possibilities with that area. Now, the top part being so small, it's clearly set up for 4K sets, so you can more or less read everything. That's the biggest part there. If it's on like a smaller 1080p set, I can see how some people might have a hard time reading the icons. So that's something to keep in mind there. Now, the big thing that I was really excited about, they're going to go into this Explore tab, which is basically their kind of their news tab, I guess. It's a, you know, so that's fine. But one of my favorite things, and this is a big deal for anyone playing, the PlayStation Store is integrated. It's not a separate app. It's part of the overall user experience or user interface even here. That is huge because the PlayStation Store, you have to launch into an application, and it is terribly slow on the PlayStation 4 Pro, the PlayStation 4. Doesn't matter. It's slow. I like this because when they go over to it, let's see if we can capture it here. When they go over to it, it is lightning quick. Like that alone, to me, is worth so much for this overall upgrade to the PS5. I mean, look, it just, if you've been using the shop on the PlayStation 4, you know that is like lightning quick there. So I am very happy that they did this. I kind of wish they scrolled down though. Like I wish they did a bit more and were like, all right, let's take a look through the shop. But who knows? Maybe there are games or other things they want to show us later on that they didn't want to reveal here. But I do like that the PlayStation Store itself is significantly faster. That is huge. The overall experience is fast. Like that's the biggest thing. Everything is fast on this PlayStation 5 user experience. Now, they're going to rest mode. Is it too complicated out of the gate? Maybe. I think it's going to take some time to get used to, like any other user interface, or in this instance, user experience. But once you do, it seems like there is just a lot of stuff to do here. So right now, first impressions on the user interface, the user experience, as they have just released this video, I like it. I do. So we'll see if it ends up being as good as what we've had with the PlayStation 4, which has been okay. Like I said, it's just the overall speed of the system that's really tough. Guys, let me know what you think down below. Make sure you like the video on the way out if you enjoyed it. Dislike it if not, and I'll see you next time.